Hi, welcome back on board. This is the fourth in a series of motovlogs we did of a motorcycle trip in New Zealand in 2017. We left Rotorua and we're heading up through Auckland, where we spent a couple of days, and then going further north to Kirikiri in the Bay of Islands, where we spent a few days exploring a truly beautiful part of the North Island. Travelling through the middle of the North Island was certainly a lot of different countryside compared to further south, and especially on the South Island. We took a couple of days out in Auckland and poked around the old city area. Certainly a beautiful little city and well laid out. There's a few shots coming up there of some footage we took from the top of Mount Wellington overlooking the city area, and we did quite a few day rides around the coastal area, various ports and bays. City's well laid out, and the old harbour area is certainly a very busy tourist destination. We rode out of Auckland and headed up along the coast once again, as I said, heading up to Kirikiri and the Bay of Islands. Like most of New Zealand, the roads are in fantastic condition, and even allowing for a bit of tourist traffic on the road, we had no problems at all. There's so many places to stop along the coast, and some of the coastal towns and villages are well worth a stop and a look around. As I mentioned, the west coast of the North Island has got some absolutely spectacular scenery, and some of the towns sitting onto the coast around Wanganari, and as I said, going further up to the Bay of Islands. So many little towns. There's just various shots as we passed through some of these towns and did lunch stops and so on. The area around the Bay of Islands once again was a truly beautiful little spot. We spent a overnight stay up there and spent most of the next day poking around the various bays and roads around the coast. After a couple of days of touring around the Kirikirian Bay of Islands, we were starting, that was their furthest point going north, and we were going to make our way back down south and into the centre of the North Island, eventually heading towards Hamilton and then going over to the Hobbiton movie set just outside of Hamilton. We cruised back down through the west coast again, stopping at quite a lot of little fishing villages and ports along the way, and we could have spent a lot more time at that point of the North Island, but eventually we knew we had to sort of start making a mile to head south again. We stayed north of Auckland on the way back down, and decided to give the main city area a little bit of a miss and to the freeway around the city. A certainly busy little place in peak hour traffic in the morning. Took us a couple of hours to get through. As I said, we were heading down to Hamilton and onto the Hobbiton movie set. We were a little bit unsure of what to expect from the set. We'd obviously seen movie sets overseas and had set the bar pretty high, but it's probably fair to say the Hobbiton movie set was absolutely world class, and we had a really great afternoon there, and fairly warm, and we managed to spend about 2 hours just on the guided tour. The photos probably don't do some of it justice. It's a little shot of me getting stuck into a bit of Hobbit pie and a Hobbit beer, and I've got to say, at the end of a fairly long day, any more than 1 or 2 Hobbit beers and we would have been spending the night in the Green Dragon, no doubt about that. Moved on that afternoon, and the next day we're getting ready to head back down to Lake Taupo, and then back through the centre of the North Island over towards Whanganui and the coast. That's a couple of previous photographs of leaving Lake Taupo and heading around to the Tongariro National Park. That's the ski lodge building there, and looking up further around the national park to the extinct volcano. The road further on from there, heading over to the coast to Whanganui, was another one of those classic New Zealand roads that just kept on giving. It was twisty after twisty all the way through. Stopped quite a few times for roadworks. It seemed to be an area that had quite a lot of slippage over the years, and they'll continue to work on it. But as I said, there was an awful lot to see. This picture of Lauren and Kathy propped outside a old railway viaduct, and we just stopped and had lunch along the way. The road itself, most of it was in really good condition, and managed to push on fairly quick through there. On the coast, Whanganui is another one of those classic New Zealand towns on the coast. Really well laid out, clean and tidy, and we had a great time riding around various lookouts over the city itself. Had a good rest, and then we're getting ready for the next day to proceed further south back towards Wellington, where we intended to stay a few nights and catch up on a bit of R&R.